Do people exposed to polio live in my community? The answer to this question is yes. What we know from the Australian Polio Registry and from some of our surveys is that people exposed to polio seem to be evenly spread out in the Australian population and also spread widely over our continent. This may not appear to be the case, but it is. Not everyone has had contact with or has recognised a person who was exposed to polio. Polio Australia asserts that there are tens of thousands of polio survivors in Australia who are likely to develop late effects of polio, or who already experience its late effects and may have a post-polio diagnosis. The average of our current estimates is about 40,000 people. Polio Australia and its state member organisations are in contact with over 4,000 people who know they have been affected by polio. This number only reflects those people who know they had polio and have let us know. What this means is that about 9 in 10 people exposed to polio who live in Australia are not in contact with post-polio support organisations. In addition, those 9 in 10 may not know about post-polio conditions, and they may have doctors who have no awareness that polio exposure is a part of the person's medical history. What does this look like in my community? It is more practical to think about this number of people exposed to polio as how many per 1,000 residents in your area. We should expect 1 or 2 people exposed to polio to be amongst every 1,000 residents, wherever they are in Australia. A rural town of 3,000 people probably has 3 to 6 people living locally who are exposed to polio. A city suburb of 15,000 people probably has 15 to 30 people who have a history of polio exposure. This ratio is comparable to that reported by similar nations who had polio epidemics. Those who had their polio in Australian epidemics are mostly over 65 years old. They may be exiting the workforce or may already be retired and are living in locations all across Australia. Those who had polio overseas and immigrated to live in Australia tend to be younger, as they may have come from countries who more recently eradicated polio. These people are probably still in the workforce, maybe having and raising children, and more often live in cities. What can you do to improve post-polio knowledge in your community? Awareness comes first, so now you know more, you can ask around about the polio epidemics and those who experience them. You might like to first check close to home. There may very well be or have been a person affected by polio within your own family tree. If you work in healthcare, be aware that many of those exposed to polio are in the age groups which more frequently access health services. Most are above 65 years old. You might contact local social support organisations to have conversations about how many people fitting this profile they are aware of in your community. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. By understanding post-polio topics, you are helping to improve health outcomes. Visit Polio Australia's website for further information and to download resources.